is Diane. Welcome to Biters.
And this is Marnell. And now I have two Alaskan housewives to talk down from the ledge. And one of them isn't me.
Let's get this bear in the air.
Oh, there's one more Alaskan housewife in Alaska now. Welcome home.
I don't know that we will ever get her A, to listen to the podcast, or B, to actually join us on it.
She might listen to the podcast.
I told her she needed to listen to the podcast.
Our other sister moved back to Alaska recently, so Diane's been hanging out with her, and they've been trying to get me up north. So that would be fun again.
You know, it's very funny. We spent an unfortunate amount of time together after work the other night. The latest this chick has been out in a long time. And,
I was like, wait, an unfortunate amount of time? I thought you said you were having fun with her.
We are. But it was really interesting because we had this very broad-ranging conversation, including, you should listen to the podcast. She was a little bit concerned that we would talk about her and Jeff, which I said we already were. But it was so interesting comparing childhood memories. It's like, did you even grow up in the same house?
Well, you and I have that because there's such an age difference. And what's funny is I always feel like there was always 4 and 5 years difference from me and our other sisters. And like, as we get older, that age gap is getting smaller. But I know she's not lying about her age because she was born the year Elvis died.
Oh, that's really funny.
So she's only 2 years older than me, but I feel like she's like, our age gap is somehow closing.
Okay, that makes me think of one of my favorite Dead Milkman songs. When my time comes, that's how I want to go. Stoned and fat and wealthy and sitting on the bowl.
Oh, my God. That's amazing.
No, I mean, Amy and I were in the house for the most part at the same time. It's not like the 10-year age gap between you and me.
Right.
So it's just bizarre to me that we have such different memories. And we were both like, oh my God, I don't remember that. What? You came up with that out of nowhere.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah, when we were down to see my dad, or our dad, we kind of did the same thing where it was, you know, it's amazing what, you know, someone remembers who was in the same room with you, but you have no recollection of the same things happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, the other Alaskan housewife.
Yep.
She's just as funny as you are.
That's because she's hung out with me recently.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it wore off.
You are the source of all humor.
Not all of it, but of my fair share.
Well, so we are here to podcast season 5, episode 4, called Skidmark.
Skidmark. Oh, this is a feline heavy episode. I loved it. I'm not a cat person, but anything that drives my dogs crazy is funny.
Oh, I bet they were going nuts when they were hearing him talk.
The lab was doing that whole
Where's the cat? Where's the cat? Look for the cat.
chasing Skidmark off screen and then looking behind the TV.
Oh, that is really funny.
So this episode drove her nuts, and it was hilarious.
Our dogs were definitely interested, but they were not that interactive. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, there's a Humane Society of America commercial where the cat looks like it's rubbing up against your screen on the TV, and I swear to God she's gonna knock the TV over one of these days.
Well, so you said you rated it higher than I did.
I did. Well, I don't even know your rating, but you and our other sister were saying that you didn't like this episode and that they were going to have to step it up this season. And yeah, so I liked this episode. I gave it a 4.2 bears in the air.
So I'm feeling massively guilty about not liking this season. Tom O'Mara said he was going to revoke my podcasting card and tattle to Jenna Elfman.
Oh, no!
I know. I'm feeling really bad. And what I said to him is, you can tell Jenna that I think they're great actors. They are just not getting a terrific vehicle within which to work.
Huh.
That's really the way I'm feeling so far. So I actually rated this one lower than last episode. I gave it 3.27 sinus pinballs out of 5.
Wow. That is really low.
Yeah, I'm pretty consistently in the 3s this season, and that's atypical for me.
Are you rating it the show against itself, or are you rating it against Walking Dead Prime?
I am rating the show against last season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last season was kind of a juggernaut. Like it would be hard to live up to that season, but I don't know. I like where we're at in the show. There's a lot of different storylines that are kind of hopefully converging, and yeah, other than Morgan's flowery pep talks every once in a while, I'm really liking the shows.
Well, you're going to have to talk me off of the ledge, and maybe I can get our sister to listen so you can talk her off of the ledge, too. So, I do have some numbers.
Mm-hmm.
It's holding fairly steady. It was 1.655 million views on the same day. 0.5 in 18 to 49, which is what it's been the last couple of episodes. It was overall 5th for Sunday night. And it was still beat out by 90 Day Fiancé on Terrible Life Choices.
Oh, man.
I'm not watching 90 Day Fiancé. I have expanded my viewing repertoire a lot over the past few weeks. That is not on the list.
No, I watched the first couple of seasons of the show that I think it's kind of a spinoff of Married at First Sight. And the first couple of seasons were good, as in like the first couple of seasons of kind of any reality show are pretty good, because like people don't know how to work the shtick. Like it's legitimate. Like people aren't doing this to get on TV. They are really interested in whatever the show is about. And so, but after that, after season 2 of any show like that, it's just all for ratings, and they try to do crazy stuff, and it goes downhill. So
I've got to tell you, I don't have the love of reality TV that you do.
Neither, I don't watch very many of them, and I probably watch more than I think I do, because I like the show Alone, and God, there's another one that's kind of The Last Alaskans is kind of okay. Yeah. But like I said, after a second season, it's usually pretty futile.
I'm just thinking that it's so hard for me to start any new series that oh God, the thought of 2 seasons of reality television just makes me kind of sick to my stomach.
I kind of I look at it as like a social experiment, which is what Married at First Sight and 90 Day Fiancé is kind of like. I haven't seen 90 Day Fiancé, so I can't judge. But from the commercials, yeah, it's all about the Jerry Springer feel, and just kind of not my thing.
I won't hold you to watching it to tell us all what it's about. All right, so I don't have anything magical about the title.
Yeah, no, it's pretty self-explanatory. The cat.
I do want to say, though, that I did share an article that had the best Skidmark memes and reactions to the Biters Facebook page. So if you get a chance, take a look at it. It's pretty funny.
Oh, that's fun. Did they do, what was the cat from the Avengers movie? No, Captain Marvel.
It was Goose the Flurkin.
Yes. Doesn't Skidmark look like Goose?
Yes, Skidmark looks a lot like Goose.
I feel like he's going to vomit up the Tesseract.
Or at least have some tentacles come out of his mouth. Spoiler for a movie that's been out for several months.
Oh, I'm not a cat person. Well, for one, I'm allergic, but I don't know. Animals. I love animals.
You had Chewbacca, right?
I did.
Yeah, you had a cat.
I had a cat. Yep. Even though I'm allergic. That's how much I love animals. But not kids. No more kids.
Oh my God. This was a kid-heavy episode again, and I'm sure we'll get into that.
We will get into that.
I totally thought of you when all of those kids materialized on the screen.
Right?
Oh my God.
We'll get into it.
Yeah. All right. So our writer was, I think, a man. I'm assuming a man. Samir Menta. Maybe it's Meta. I think it's Menta. I think it's Menta. Can't read my own handwriting. Known for Fear.
Meta.
Meta.
Mehta.
Mehta. See, I can't read my own handwriting.
You're in the medical field.
Well, I actually have pretty good handwriting for someone who works in healthcare too. But sometimes my N's look like H's, what can I say? And vice versa. So known for Fear the Walking Dead, known for a series called The Sinner, and known for, I'm not sure if it's a series or a movie called Eyewitness.
I haven't heard of the movie, but The Sinner was amazing.
Well, so I was going to say, for people who haven't seen it, and I haven't seen it, but I did put it on my Netflix list tonight, it is an anthology series that examines how and why ordinary people commit brutal crimes.
Yes.
It sounded right up our alley, and it sounds like there's going to be a season 2.
Yeah, there are 2 seasons. I've watched both. Season 1 is the superior season, as in most shows, the season 1 is the best. It has Jessica Biel, Bill Pullman. I think that's the only ones I know. But yeah, definitely a good show.
It's on the list, but right now I'm binging Mindhunter. I'm taking a little break from Game of Thrones.
I'm taking a break from Lorena.
It's only 4 episodes. How can you take a break from it?
Because I watched 1 episode and haven't watched it. Because you have to pay attention to the screen because you have to read. Like this episode of Fear the Walking Dead, there was a lot of subtitles. But we've also been trying to still binge Raising Hope.
Okay.
Yes. And Garrett Dillahunt is in Raising Hope.
Yes.
And it's a good show.
Good. Well, Samir Mehta, the other thing that I noticed, he has written for Narcos, he's written for Medium, and his first credit was a short called The Ticket in 2005. He also has co-producer credits for episodes 1, 2, and 4 on this season of Fear.
Not 3.
Not 3. 1, 2, and 4. Yeah. Those co-producer had credits. That's a heavy burden.
Yeah.
So our director is a woman named Tara Nicole. I'm assuming it's pronounced Weir. Weyr.
Yeah.
She actually directed the Code, an episode of Fear the Walking Dead last season, which is the episode where we got Wendell and Sarah for the first time.
Right. It's the episode where Jimbo leaves Morgan stranded on top of a car with his hands tied behind his back.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty big episode.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I just generally liked last season, so I remembered liking it. I remembered that one of them kept on kind of messing up the truck on down the road or get on down the road or...
Wendell, I think, kept doing that.
Yes, I think so too.
He gets his idioms mixed up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Tara Nicole Weir has 22 director credits. I thought of you because she has directed an episode of The Good Doctor.
And Once Upon a Time.
Mm-hmm. She has directed an episode of The Purge.
I have seen almost everything you've directed.
I thought of Phil. She has directed an episode of The Flash.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally started Lucifer, and she has 5 episodes of Lucifer to her credit as well.
Which is a great show.
So it's loosely based on Neil Gaiman's depiction of Lucifer.
Yes.
Which, you know, I adore Neil Gaiman, so...
Of course.
Which we didn't follow up on talking about Good Omens again.
No, it's fiscal year end, Be an accountant, they said. It won't be so exciting, but Yeah, fiscal year end.
We may have to put that off until the end or until fiscal year end is over then.
Right.
But
So,
we'll get there.
She also directed an episode of Designated Survivor. That's a pretty good show.
Now, that has Kiefer Sutherland in it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then Good Girls. I can't remember if that's on like Netflix or Hulu. But yeah, that's one to binge. It's got Christina Hendricks in it, and Annie Marks. And so Christina Hendricks is from Mad Men. She's the redheaded secretary.
Ah, okay.
And then, I'm sorry, Mae Whitman. Annie Marks is Mae Whitman's character. If you've never seen the movie and you're a female, The Duff is a hilarious movie, and Mae Whitman is hilarious. So, yeah. I've seen just about everything Tara has directed.
It looks like it was on NBC.
Ah, okay. I think they're in season 2 right now. But she's got an interesting director's credit. Tara Nicole does. She's in post-production for 2 episodes of Wu-Tang: An American Saga.
I wrote that down. And, I worked at a music store when Wu-Tang Clan was really big. But it was not my genre of music at all, so I can admit to never having listened to one of their songs.
No, neither have I. It's not my forte. And now when I think of the Wu-Tang Clan, they have an album that they only produced like one of, and it was like they auctioned it off or sold it off or something. It was something ridiculous, like $7 million for this one album, and you were the only one that could listen to it. And Pharma Bro bought it.
That
Martin
creepy
Shkreli.
dude. Yes.
Yeah, Martin Shkreli. Yeah.
Yeah.
He bought it with all of his earnings on jacking up the prices of insulin.
I remember that guy. He was really wormy.
Yeah. So Wu-Tang Clan, even if their music was great, it's like totally spoiled for me now. But I think it's interesting that she directed 2 episodes of what seems to be an 11-episode series about Wu-Tang.
You can watch that one and let us know what it's about.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff on my list, like The Sinner.
Yes, The Sinner.
And Mindhunter is getting a season 2, so I'm looking forward to that.
Well, and we're also listening to I think it's a follow-up to like season 2 of In the Dark podcast because of a recent Supreme Court ruling. It affected a case that the series follows. So
interesting.
I've been listening to podcasts too. So
okay, I'm going to totally go off on a tangent, and I'm going to reveal to the biters just how weird I am. So I found a podcast with Krishna Das, who is he's a Western dude who went to India back when everybody was looking for their guru in the late 60s, early 70s. And I've really fallen in love with him over the years, and I figured out that he had a podcast. It's phenomenal if you're thusly inclined. So I highly recommend The Pilgrim Heart to anyone who leans that way.
Interesting.
I've been doing a lot of yoga and chanting.
And see, I've just been doing a lot of freaking out and panicking.
Well, I'm doing yoga and chanting so I don't freak out and panic.
Yeah, I'll think about that after fiscal year end.
Right. Anyway, that's my podcast recommendation. So that's a little out there, but
that's awesome. One day I will meditate.
I'm not a very good meditator. I'm a better chanter.
Okay.
Yeah. They serve the same purpose. They get your head out of your head. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So our featured cast member, I didn't find a whole heck of a lot about her.
No. So our featured cast member is Bailey Guvelik. She plays Annie. And she does not have much in the way of an IMDb profile or a social. She has an Instagram, but Instagram is mainly pictures. There's a little bit, into her life on her Instagram. I did manage to find her age because
I was wondering.
She's playing such a young kind of looking character, a young character. She's 21 in real life.
You're kidding.
No.
Wow. So I looked at the pictures of her and I thought, boy, she looks a lot more mature than the character that she's playing. I would have had no idea she was 21. Are you sure?
So the info comes from skybound.com and the article is Meet the Kids from Fear the Walking Dead Season 5. So
she looks like she's like 12.
I know. That means we're getting old.
Wow. I'm sorry. I'm floored. I can't let that go.
Okay, so I was in a shop the other day that you have to be 21 to get into because it's legal here in Alaska now. It was called the Green Elephant. And there was a girl that came in, and they immediately card you upon entering. I mean, there's like pretty much a bouncer at the doors of all of the shops here in Juneau, and they card everyone who comes in, even if it's like an employee on their day off, they will card you. And I think it's just because if they ever get asked, if they ever get in trouble and they ask, well, did you card? You can always say yes.
Right, it's total liability stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, people, like, would leave and come back in, and they would recard them. This girl walked in, and I was like, okay, I would card her for an R-rated movie. And sure enough, she was over 21, so I can't judge age.
I still can't believe that this girl is 21. Are you sure?
Okay, so Bailey Gubelik, 21-year-old actress.
Yeah, there's an article at Undead Walking that says the same thing.
Yep. She attended the University of South Florida, and she's previously worked as an acting coach.
I just can't believe that.
I know. And that's a compliment to her. I mean, in the industry, looking young is definitely a plus because you have a wider range you can play, and youth usually means roles. So
well, she is very convincing. I'm going to give her huge props for being very convincing as essentially a preteen girl.
Right. So I think part of the reason why we probably see her as young and why I actually usually am seen as young is because she's only 5 foot, which is how tall I am.
Oh, that's funny.
Go shorties.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's really not that much out there about her. This is kind of her biggest role. The other role that she seems to be most credited in is a movie called At the End of the Day. And did you look this up?
I looked it up, and it looks really funny. I mean, it's certainly ripe for conflict based on the description of the plot. She was fairly far down in the cast list.
Well, I actually watched a clip of it that prominently featured her, and she seems to do very well. So the synopsis for the movie is a conservative professor at a Christian college finds himself in a gay support group to stop their launch of an LGBT homeless youth shelter in their small town. And so Bailey plays a young a student who's going to a Christian college, and she is, of course, in this youth group that's totally against this LGBT shelter opening. So, and it kind of looks a little after school-y messaging where she, in the end, everyone learns their lessons and learns to love,
Mm-hmm.
But the clip that I did watch, she did an amazing job. So she's an amazing actress in her two prominent roles. But I'm actually really interested in watching this movie. You can stream it on Prime Video. So yeah, take a look at that. But But other than that, there's really not that much out there about her.
Well, I thought one of the interesting things, and this is purely from her IMDb page, she actually has a bunch of credits for acting in shorts.
Shorts, yes.
7 shorts in total.
Um,
And she also has 2 producer credits for shorts, neither of which she was in.
well, she's been an acting coach. I did watch the kind of a behind the scenes interview with her for the short Cassandra. But there really wasn't much about her or anything like that. She kind of gives away the plot a little bit, but she seems to be very funny. And that was 3 years ago, so she was 18. But yeah, I watched a couple of like interviews at film festivals and behind the scenes videos of her on the set of these shorts, and she doesn't talk too much about herself. So,
well, it makes more sense that she has producer credits now that we know of her advanced age.
Advanced age. That's awesome.
But I expect that we'll probably see more of her since she's really kind of in a demographic where her career should be starting to take off.
Yep, definitely. One of the interviews that I watched with her, I think it had something to do with the Disney Channel, but I don't see anything that would be Disney Channel-ish on her IMDb credits. Yeah. She was in something called Legion of Rue. 1 episode. It's a TV series, a fantasy. Has no end date, but it only has 1 season for 2017. Nope. So that may have been the Disney Channel thing, but there's a lot of pictures of Disney Channel or Disney stuff on her Instagram. So, and she was prom queen.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, there's a picture of her being crowned prom queen and graduation and stuff like that. She looks super fun. Looks like she's having a good time, and her career is about to take off.
Well, I learned a lot about Bailey. Thank you.
At the very least, her age.
Right, which is still flabbergasting.
Seriously, I would have pegged her no older than 17.
It wouldn't have even put her that old.
Yeah, because I think she's playing like 12 or 13 on the show.
I would have assumed that she was a kid that was being repped by her family, like Cooper Dodson.
Oh, yeah. I totally expected to have like her social media be run by her parents. And have the disclaimer at the top. But nope.
Which, by the way, this shows you how terrible my memory is. Did we do Cooper Dodson as a featured cast?
Yes.
Okay, I thought we did.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, I've got a fair amount in Whisperer's Corner.
Oh, good.
So, in keeping with my new tradition, I did read the Forbes review for this episode.
Oh, man, I really should have done that.
Well, so it was written by Eric Fain, a.k.a. the guy who doesn't know what nurses do. And it was entitled The Biggest Problems with Fear the Walking Dead and Why It Might Be Time to Call It Quits.
Oh, my goodness.
No, I mean, I actually kind of related. So his reasons, and I didn't write down like all of the individual points within the points, but he said, the writing is lazy. Morgan is ruining Fear. His do-goodery is poisoning the show. The show was supposed to be about the Clarks. And God, it's just so boring.
Okay, I agree kind of with everything except for the boring. There's been some plot holes that we'll get into. And we both are a little over Morgan's flowery pep talk, so I kind of agree with him there, but I don't find it boring.
So he actually said, and I wrote it down and quoted it, I've given up on better shows.
That's funny.
So, as much as he doesn't know anything about nurses, I actually found myself agreeing with some of the points that he made in his review.
Okay, so and here's the thing. I was actually going through all of the shows that I have watched and kind of fell off in the middle, and I was thinking, would I still be watching Fear the Walking Dead? Because I was like, I can't imagine just stop watching, The Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead. But there are so many other shows that I've just fallen off of, like The Flash, Supergirl, Arrow. Like, I really need to catch up on all of those and then listen to Phil. But I actually, I don't know. This one, Fear the Walking Dead, if I hadn't been podcasting about it, it may had fallen off.
They've got a chance to turn it around for me. They've got, what, 12 episodes left in the season? But at this point, I'm not sure that I would still be watching it if I wasn't podcasting it and so diehard about the main series.
Right. And it would be one of those where it would stay on my list, and maybe I would go back and binge like a season or a half a season, in a week's time, 3 months after the season ended. But I don't know if I would keep up on it. So, I mean, it's like, I'm not over the moon about it, but I don't dislike it as much as you guys.
Well, again, they have time to turn it around.
Right. I just watch so much other TV.
Which I don't. So I'm kind of in the place where every hour that I devote to television is kind of precious time.
Right.
So it's got to be really good to keep me engaged.
And so
really sleazy. Lorena.
So for two people who were complaining about not having a Talking Dead afterwards, as much as I miss talking about or listening to other people talk about the finer points of the show, I'm actually relishing my hour off.
I think, honestly, I might enjoy this season more if we had talking.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. I think it's just because I'm just been so crazy busy with work that any hour that I can get a quick nap or a dog walk in or something. Yeah. So as much as I miss Talking Dead, I also like the extra hour.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I don't miss it as much as I think I do.
All right. Deeper into Whisperer's Corner. So obviously the helicopter connection was confirmed in multiple sites. And I didn't realize this. Not only were there the interlocking circles on the side of the helicopter, but the letter A was also on the helicopter.
Yes.
Let's see. There's an article at screenrant.com which suggests that Negan is the future of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And they really point to both the TV and the comics trying to do that redemption arc with Negan. So I thought that was a pretty interesting article. This was pointed out by Thomas O'Mara when he was texting me after watching the episode, and it was confirmed in a comicbook.com article. There are suggestions that the cigar that Salazar was talking about, it's a reference to Abe.
Oh, interesting.
I thought that was a great catch on Tom's part.
Yeah, I don't think I would have ever got that.
It's so obvious, but yeah, I missed it.
Yeah. Yeah, because, we forget about the time jump sometimes.
And Abe and Eugene were both referenced in Al's tapes last season.
Mm-hmm.
So there's potentially a connection there as well.
It would be so, like, just minimal crossovers. Even if it were just the tapes, that would be cool. Like, they don't have to, like, bring them back for a whole story arc or anything, but just a little reminder, revisiting of our old cast members.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they can, just in terms of the time jump and kind of time frames, but they could certainly do a bottle episode where they elaborated more on the tape and the contact with Abe and Eugene.
Yeah.
I don't think they will, but they could.
Oh, no.
So other news, next episode is the episode that was directed by Sarah Wayne Callies. So we've got that coming up.
Ah.
You probably didn't see this because you watch on iTunes. You don't get it as a broadcast series. Mm-hmm. But the first Preacher ads were up with Fear this episode.
I think I watched one either on Twitter or online somewhere. So
there was no plot reveal, whatever. It was just kind of these disconnected images, and then it said it was back on August 4th.
Yep. I think that's what I saw when I texted you that it was back on August 4th.
I posted this on our Facebook page. For any of our friends in Virginia, The Walking Dead is looking for zombie extras for the new series, which shoots this fall.
Oh.
And there actually is a link in the article where you can submit basically your profile and your headshots and that kind of thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I hear they have to go to zombie school. Right.
And it was interesting that I read the article, I just skimmed it really fast, and they are looking for people with a background in dance. Which I don't think we're going to see a reboot of Thriller. I just think they need to be able to move their bodies in order to go to zombie school.
Right. You have to be a little bit limber, and maybe they're looking for a certain body type. I mean, some of us do look like well walkers, but we all can't be well walkers.
Right. Some of them have to be RV walkers. There is speculation in another Forbes article, which I thought was really interesting. I had not heard this theory. So the theory is that A's are people who were recently bitten, and B's are people who are not bitten. And the same article, and I think I had heard this, but I didn't really retain it. Angela Kang confirmed that Heath was kidnapped by CRM. So we're probably going to see Heath again in one of the Rick Grimes movies. That's kind of the speculation.
Oh, I would love that.
I thought it was really interesting that she confirmed his kidnapping.
That's so cool. I had not seen that headline. That is awesome. I need to set up a Google alert for Heath. I don't agree with the AB thing, though.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. I just ran across it in that article, and I thought, that's really interesting. I'll have to put it out there and see if anybody else has heard that.
No, like, my only really working theory about AB is because of the Commonwealth in the books, and we might get that soon in the main show. I'm thinking that, like, A's are the upper class people that and the B's are the workers, the laborers.
That makes sense. Oh, go ahead.
It's the only thing I can come up with.
I was kind of thinking about it in terms of the strong and the weak,
Yeah.
But no, bitten, not bitten. We'll find out.
Because you could just have people bitten. Like, you could just round up all the unbitten people and be like, I don't like these 3 people. Let's test them.
All of a sudden, they're A's.
And you know me, all of them would be kids.
Right. So our final item for Whisperer's Corner is that Prodigal Son, which is Tom Paine's new series on Fox, is set to premiere on Monday, September 23rd at 9 p.m.
Ah. I don't know if I will catch it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I will either. I mean, I really like Tom Paine. It doesn't really sound like something, like a genre that I'm going to devote a lot of energy to. So, right. But I wish him well. I hope it goes well for him.
Absolutely. Especially since we can't have him back on the show.
Right.
I mean, not that I wished Maggie's other show would fail, but I'm kind of liking that she's going to be back on Prime.
At least we think.
I hope.
Yeah. I mean, there's no confirmation, and it doesn't sound like she's coming back full time, even if she does. But right. Yeah, she'll have more time on Prime.
Right.
Well, that's all I've got for Whisperer's Corner.
Okay.
So why don't you tell me you're good?
So I really liked this episode because of the Salazar and Charlie kind of misadventure. I think that they really clicked and I liked their chemistry. And I'm kind of feeling that Charlie is like Ophelia 2.0.
They certainly are implying that heavily.
Yeah. Yeah. Just their interactions, you know, nobody takes the artichoke hearts, and how, you know, they seem to be able to like see through each other's crap, and are, you know, there's not going to be a lot of, I don't feel like it's the Morgan and Alicia kind of chemistry. I don't know.
No,
I
it's
think
a much grimmer Morgan and Alicia.
I could totally see these two going off together, like Charlie leaving the group to go with Salazar, because I don't know, they just it's like they fulfill something in each other. He's lost his daughter and she lost her parents, you know, and it worked. I really liked it, and I hope we see more of it.
I did like the moment where she very coolly surveyed the store and was like, yeah, this is how I would knock it over, and this is how I would distract the walkers, and this is how you do it.
Exactly. So that was my good. So I think that's probably why I liked this show, is it was basically the Charlie Salazar Skidmark show.
Oh, the other thing I will say is that I really liked the moment. I did very much like the moment where he said that kind of his insights about being able to do things over and turn things around. And then he said, I felt like you needed to hear that too.
Yeah.
Which was basically what he was going to say to Ophelia when he saw Ophelia again.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I feel like Ophelia 2.0.
Yeah, like I said, they're being fairly heavy-handed about it, but I did like some of the dynamic between the two of them.
Yeah. So that was my good. What was yours?
Well, my good was small but powerful. I loved Skidmark. I just thought he was so fun to watch. He was so incredibly well trained, and I thought, what the heck does it take to train a cat like that?
You know, I've seen people like on Japanese variety shows where they
You watch those after you watch your reality television?
and like Korean singing shows. I watch a lot of TV. So,
girl, you need to read more.
I know, right? I don't even like reading the captions on the screen. No, I do love to read. I just haven't gotten into anything lately. But I have seen people like train cats really well. I don't know what it takes, but I mean, you can literally get them to jump through hoops of fire. So,
well, I have got to tell you that Skidmark was right up there with Goose the Florkin in Captain Marvel.
yes.
And with the cat in Men in Black 1 who had the galaxy on its collar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually did a little Google search and I was like, iconic movie cats. And EW has an article about 25 iconic movie cats. Goose the Florkin is number 6.
Ooh.
The number 1 cat is the unnamed cat who was in Breakfast in Tiffany's, the 1961 Audrey Hepburn movie.
Ah, okay.
So it was a fun article. If you like cats, if you want to find out about cats in movie history, it was a fun article.
That's funny. Don't you have an orange tomcat?
We do, and he has hyperthyroidism, so he has skin and bones. He looks terrible. Terrible. Oh. And our only choice at this point is to keep shoving pills down him and hope he responds, or to have his thyroid gland taken out, which is like a hugely expensive, insane surgery.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep shoving pills down him and hope he responds.
Well, I was actually... This is so cliche. I was walking my husky at the glacier the other day. He gets so much attention from tourists, and everyone wants to pet him, and everyone's like, "Oh, how old is he?" And he's like 13 now.
Oh my God, it's
And
so hard for me to believe he's so up there. He's not 13 because we have only been in the house for 10 years this year.
and he was between 1 and 2
Yeah,
when
but
we
we've
got him.
only been in the house for 10 years this year, and we helped you find him probably 3 years after we got here. So he's probably 8.
No,
Yes.
I've had him longer than 8. Anyway,
No, you
so
haven't.
he
You need to look at your vet records.
he's getting up there in years though. I mean, for a larger breed dog, and he actually has lupus. So he's been on a ton of supplements and medication since he was diagnosed last year, and he's doing great. So the marvels of modern veterinarian.
Well, and I would imagine that he is a lot easier to pill than Rusty is.
You'd be surprised how big of a picky eater. Seriously, I make peanut butter pill pockets, and then I have to put extra peanut butter on them.
Well, all I can tell you is it's not my job to pill the cat, thank God.
Oh, not as well trained as Skidmark.
No, definitely not. All right, tell me your bad.
So I actually have 2 small bads, and I know for as highly as I rate the episode, having 2 bads is just way out there. But I feel like Salazar could have gotten away much easier. Like, I feel like he dilly-dallied on the wrong side of the vehicle.
All right, they lost me at not just flooring it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he should have, like, I don't know, like, walked around the vehicle when they were getting ready to fire. I mean, he would have been out of the line of fire and not in danger of even one stray walker who the bullets missed or whatever. And then underneath, it's a choke point. You can bottleneck, and he was stabbing them in the head, but it just seemed to be way too perilous for how slow. I mean, he was just walking away from the walkers like
Okay, but
20
they
seconds ago.
lost me at him and Charlie not flooring it and leaving the herd of walkers behind like way before in the episode.
Yeah. I was like, I was like, maybe they're leading them away from the store so they can circle back, but no, that didn't happen either.
Well, when I watched it the second time, he basically was like, the herd's going to get bigger and it's going to be a problem. So I think his plan was that he wanted to try to pick them off somehow. But again, they lost me in not flooring it and fast footing away from the walkers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can see how he would not want a herd in the vicinity of his safe house. Mm-hmm. But again, you could have led them off in a direction and then just like made a wide circle around and come back behind him where they couldn't see, and just let them wander off into the distance. But what do I know? So my other bad, fresh off the heels of Salazar basically like not even speed walking away from these walkers. Annie and the other brother
can't get away.
Like they are running, and like the walkers are going so fast, and the walkers are actually tied together with their intestines. And I don't know if any of you have ever been in a 3-legged race before. But two live people cannot do this, let alone 5 of you string together dead.
But by the way, we did get an answer as to how weak guts actually are.
Oh, yes.
They were able to break the gut chain pretty easily.
They were. Yeah. So it was fresh off of Salazar just basically strolling away from these walkers, and all of a sudden Annie and her brother cannot get away. So those are my bads.
Lazy writing.
Yeah, that's why I kind of had to agree with the Forbes guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, my bad is a bit bigger. I was really frustrated by the whole reliance on the plot device of Daniel being so angry with Victor. Like, I don't even remember what Victor did in season 3 that made Daniel so angry. So then I had to look it up. And I was like, I shouldn't have to rewatch half of season 3 for this conflict between Salazar and Strand to be meaningful now.
but they never liked each other. He hated Strand from the ranch.
Even before then, I mean, there was an article that I read that talked about their chemistry and talked about how they didn't like each other from season 1. But this really relied on the point of Strand lying to Salazar about Ophelia and about Ophelia still being back at that hotel. And I had to look that up. I was like, what did he lie about? Why did he lie? Well, he lied to manipulate Daniel into taking him to the hotel. But again, it was such a big plot device for this episode and for the conflict between the two. I thought, as kind of a halfway committed watcher, I shouldn't have to go back and watch half of a season to figure this out.
Agreed. Yeah. Now that you mention it, I kind of like the fact that like Salazar kind of keeps disappearing, but keeps popping up. But it's also really stunting his character line.
We'll
his story.
Get into that.
Okay. Good.
All right. You're ugly. Was it a good ugly or a bad ugly?
So it was a little bit of both, but more good than bad. I hated to love, loved to hate, one of those. The use of the propellers to kill all of the walkers. So what I didn't like about it is I feel like it's like we keep getting sequels to a horror movie and they keep having to one-up themselves on the kills. And so I feel like we're going a little off the map with how we're killing zombies now. But I also kind of love it. That first splatter that they did like a close-up of this is when I miss Talking Dead, because I wanted to see the behind the scenes of that, and all I could think is it's like being front row at a Gallagher show.
That's funny.
So
for people who don't remember, because we're dating ourselves, Gallagher used to smash watermelons. With a sledgehammer.
He used to smash many things, but mostly watermelon. And the first 3 rows of people in the audience had to be covered in plastic and wearing and raincoats and stuff. So it was a very cool visual. It was very fun. I don't go too much further than killing walkers with propellers. So, it's getting a little crazy, but it's still fun.
So I have to say that I wrote down that there were a couple of walker kills that I really liked. That was one. The other one was when Salazar stabbed the walker right through the mouth.
I noticed that one, and I'm like, that's not killing the brain.
Oh, he got the brain stem.
Okay.
Yeah.
The stem.
I'm okay with him getting the brain stem.
Okay.
I mean, that's your lizard brain. That's what keeps you breathing and moving. It's okay.
Okay. I will go with that, doctor.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. All right. My ugly was a bad ugly. This surprises you, right?
Right.
So it was really feeling like we are wasting Salazar as a character. I'm so frustrated that we just get him back and now he's taking off again. And he's going off to fulfill some kind of secret crazy mission.
Do you really think he's going to go? Like, don't you think he's, like, going to get caught up, or, like, Charlie's going to win him back? Or, like, I feel like he's just threatening to leave. And
no, so what did he say? He said...
No, I mean, he's really intending to leave, but I think, like, the show is threatening his leaving.
He said, there's a reason I've been here on my own for this long. I need to go take care of it. So I think they're probably going to give us a bottle episode. But
okay.
I'm just a little frustrated that we just got Salazar back. He's kind of one of the redeeming things of the series right now, and now he's disappearing again.
Yeah.
So that's my ugly.
I hadn't actually... I didn't think about that. But you're right.
I mean, I definitely don't think they're going to let him disappear. I do think they're going to do a bottle episode and somehow kind of hook him back into the whole season. But right now, the threat of him disappearing after just a brief resurgence is not making me happy.
Yeah. And, I feel like someday, if slash when they kill him, it's going to have to be spectacular.
To
And
believe it.
right, we're going to have to see him as a walker, or he's going to have to, like, be decapitated or something. Because otherwise, we're just going to be like, no, he's just down to 6 lives now.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I smell rotting potpourri. And I think it's coming from that cookie tin.
I saw that cookie tin this time and thought of you.
Okay, so yeah, speaking of Salazar being all mysterious and having to go off, what is with the cookie tin? I was just joking the last time I mentioned it because nobody likes those cookies. They're disgusting. I don't know how they keep selling and why they keep making them, but nobody likes those cookies.
Because they preserve well in a ZA?
Apparently. But there's got to be something else to that tin because they focused in on it like 3 times this episode. And I'm just like, okay, what fits in a cookie tin besides disgusting cookies? Any theories? Like, is it Ophelia's ashes?
No. I don't know what.
Yeah. It's obviously of great importance.
Maybe it holds the key to what he's going away to take care of.
Yeah. It's gotta be that. But it was just so funny that I called it out. It was just a random thing in the background, that episode, and it winds up being a thing.
So I got to talk about The Little Prince.
Okay.
So I read this book back in French class, in French, when I was like a senior in high school.
Right. Le Petit Prince.
Le Petit Prince.
Yes.
By Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. That's as good as my French gets these days. So, Ophelia, when she was talking, or not Ophelia, Luciana.
I knew we would do that.
Yeah.
Because I said Ophelia.
When Luciana was talking to Dylan about The Little Prince, she was really kind of talking about what this whole entire season was about. So I looked at, what the themes of The Little Prince were, and it was basically that the important things in life are beauty, love, and friendship, and that life is only worth living when it's lived for others.
How French.
But it also really goes along with the whole theme of helping people out this season, right?
It does.
Another thing that I thought was really interesting, though, is that The Little Prince is really about seeing the world through children's eyes. And it actually is really kind of derisive of adults. And I thought it was very interesting that we're kind of seeing this season through children's eyes with Charlie, Dylan, Max, Annie, and this horde of children that suddenly appeared. I just wondered if maybe that had to do with hooking it back to The Little Prince as well.
Huh. I hadn't thought of that because my memory of The Little Prince is on Nickelodeon. It was a cartoon.
I kind of vaguely remember the illustrations, but I'm wondering if I'm thinking about them with the book and if maybe they were original illustrations. It's been a long time.
Yeah, and so I was like, no, he was the little kid who lived on that, like, moon or something, and his friend
was from a planet called, like, B-126 or something like that.
Right, and, like, it's so tiny, and it's just him and this Rose that's kind of a girl, and to get to Earth to go on his adventures, he catches is it shooting stars or was it the birds?
Oh my God, honestly, it's been so long.
And so when Ophelia was describing this book, I'm like...
Luciana.
I did it too.
Yep.
I knew we would do that because I mentioned Ophelia. So when she was describing the book, I was like, that's not The Little Prince I remember. And I actually had to go look it up, and I'm like, I guess that's a description of the book. And maybe it's because I watched the show.
I actually kind of want to go back and read it. It's kind of down on the list, which has grown over the past couple of weeks. But it's been so long, and I remember really loving reading it in the original French, that it would be interesting to go back and read it now.
I don't think I'm going to go back and watch the show, which I think you can actually watch episodes on YouTube.
Oh, I'm sure you can stream it somewhere. I'd be super surprised if you couldn't.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to say about The Little Prince is that it was translated into over 300 languages.
Whoa.
And it has had sales of more than 140 million copies worldwide since it was published in 1943.
Wow.
And we have an episode this season that is named after The Little Prince. I think it's season 6 or episode 6.
What's the episode? What's the name of it?
It's called The Little Prince.
Oh, I will. That's got to be Dylan, right?
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah. So speaking of children, I think it's a little more The Lost Boys than Lord of the Flies.
I think that's a reasonable comparison.
I could be wrong because those kids were super well armed. Did you notice?
They totally made me think of the kids from Scars, and I thought, enough with rehashing the stuff that's already been done in the main series.
Yeah, and it also made me think of the episode with the kids in Black Summer.
Oh, yeah.
I liked that episode because those kids were totally Lord of the Flies. Yeah. And
that was the inspiration that they drew that episode from.
Right. And so when all of these kids come out of the woodwork, basically, I was like, oh. And they're all carrying like assault rifles.
I wonder if the showrunners were like, Black Summer stole our idea.
I think the idea has kind of been done to death, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one boy who heard the helicopter and was like, get down.
That was Max. That was the older brother.
He like with his hair, he totally looked like a lost boy. So I'm like, okay, maybe these kids aren't going to be totally evil. They're just going to be kids.
So did you catch that their parents were all the adults who were in prison and died at the Camp Tackleberry?
I didn't. Oh, okay. I didn't catch that. No, mm-hmm. I realized that all of their parents had died nearby, and Morgan said those are your parents at the camp, and yeah, I did not put that together. Ew.
It kind of argues for why they're all together in that particular place, a band of wilding children.
How did the kids survive and the adults didn't?
That's a good question. I'm still not quite sure how all of the adults got imprisoned.
Yeah. To be continued, I guess.
We'll definitely get more about the kids.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they're going to have to kill them off because I can't imagine we're going to have a horde of kids wandering through the rest of this season.
Either kill them off or leave them in the capable hands of someone else.
Maybe Grace.
Oh, maybe.
Although she's dying, so that's not going to work very well.
True. Yeah, I don't think she's going to come up with the cure for radiation poisoning in the zombie apocalypse.
Right.
Yeah. No.
All right. I know this is heresy, but I didn't particularly love the blues music.
Yeah, it didn't strike me either.
Mm-mm. It was kind of grating, actually.
Yeah.
That's total heresy. I'm going to go to hell for that.
I did like that Charlie, like, that helped her connect with Salazar, that she knew this random blues singer.
I thought it was funny that he had to use a boombox and stick it up on the dashboard.
Oh, yeah.
The car was so new it apparently didn't have a tape deck. Now I'm really dating myself.
My Jeep has a tape deck.
Oh my God, now you're really dating yourself.
I have a 1972 Jeep Commando. It's the car I learned to drive on, basically.
Does it even run?
It does.
Oh, that's funny.
It's my bug out vehicle because you can literally fix just about anything on it
Your
with,
JIC vehicle, just in case.
yeah, you can fix it with like a flathead screwdriver and a wrench. I mean, there's not a part on it if you are mechanically inclined that you can't fix with tools you can keep in the glove box. So that's my zombie apocalypse vehicle.
Very cool. It's not going to
Yeah.
get you very far in Juneau, which has like 60 miles of road, but
Hey, it's a Jeep. I don't need roads.
so thinking about vehicles, I was like, oh, what's the significance of the truck that was the change in the opening credits? Well, it's the semi that's hauling the plane.
Right. Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. I didn't realize it until the second watch through.
Neither did I. And speaking of second watch throughs, one thing that I didn't get, I kind of was in the same boat as Charlie. I thought, like, I didn't realize it till my second watch. I thought that Salazar was the one setting up the traps because he kind of knew how to sort of disarm that one, and he was very nonplussed about the dead person, and thanks for your vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh god, is he setting these awful traps to kill people and take their stuff? So I was totally in Charlie's boat until I put my phone down and rewatched the show. Hey, to be fair, I'm playing The Walking Dead Our World while I'm watching the show.
All right, I watched it twice and I wasn't on my phone the whole time. Either time.
That's why I do a rewatch the night we podcast.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we had a brief visitation from a CRM officer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading on comicbook.com that it looks like we're getting a new cast member who is one of the CRM officers.
Interesting.
An actress named Sydney Lemon.
Another chick.
Sounds like she may appear next episode.
Yeah, because we're going to see Al's story next episode. That's right. Huh. Interesting. So speaking of chicks, I posted it on the Biters page, but I absolutely loved that depiction of Rosie the Riveter.
Oh, and they did make another Stir the Beef reference in this episode.
Yes. So we've been missing the Sarah-isms, and the bears in the air, and yeah, I've been missing it. So for those of you who are not on the Facebook page or on Twitter, somebody did a Rosie the Riveter pose style drawing with Mo Collins, Sarah, as Rosie the Riveter, and it says, "Let's go stir up some beef." And I couldn't find the guy on Facebook, but he's at fanboy_museum on Twitter, and he does some of the most amazing fan art. And it's not just for Fear the Walking Dead; it's for a ton of other stuff too.
Oh,
so
cool.
I loved this Rosie the Riveter depiction with Sarah. So I just had to give that a little shout out.
I was glad to have her back. I really like her character a lot.
Yeah, her and Wendell.
Yeah.
Definitely missed them.
Sinus pinball.
Oh.
Well, I didn't have a whole heck of a lot more. I mean, obviously the helicopter was a giant thing. And the note that I wrote to myself about the helicopter the second time through was, will Goldberg and Shambliss kill fear to bring it into the greater Walking Dead universe?
See, and with all of the stuff that's happening in Walking Dead Prime with, losing Rick and not having a lot of Maggie, we're going to lose Michonne here at some point, I feel like they're killing off the Prime show and rolling people into fear.
I don't know. I think there's still a lot of story left in Walking Dead Prime.
I think there is too, but they're burning through the cast members, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. I get it. They've been doing this for 10 years. A lot of them have been doing it for 10 years or slightly less, but and it takes up such a big part of your life that sometimes you just want to take a break or go off and do something else. And
acted Black Panther. Have a big role in Avengers Endgame.
Right? Try your hand at starring in a show. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they definitely are merging the shows, and then of course we're getting other shows in the greater Walking Dead universe.
Right. We've got the third series coming out, starting to film this fall.
Right, and
you
the
too
movies.
Can be a walker.
Without getting bit.
Right. Did you have anything else?
I don't think so. Yeah. I'm good. Like, I feel like that we're going in a good direction. There's a lot of storylines that are going to converge. We have Dwight and June and John, and we have Al's story, and now we've got our other group with Salazar, Charlie, Luciana, and Lord of the Flies. So I think we've got a bunch of really good storylines that are all going to converge and be this mid-season finale, season finale, one of them.
I don't know where they're headed. I can't read where they're headed.
Well, they're headed for a very short mid-season break. There's only going to be 2 weeks between the mid-season finale and the season 5B premiere.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's unusual.
There is a article on a site called, it's the undeadwalking.com.
Ah, yep.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit of a spoilery site. If you don't want spoilers, probably be careful going there.
Ah, good to know.
It's not hugely spoilery, but it does have some spoilers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that kind of makes sense. They started this season so late, and then they still want to tie it up in time to get to the main show.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense, but I'm kind of surprised that they're only taking just a brief break like that.
Right, because Walking Dead Prime leaves us hanging just after Thanksgiving until like Valentine's Day.
Well, usually beginning of December, but yeah, then pretty much until beginning of February.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like forever.
It does.
Not quite as long as season 8 of Game of Thrones, but
I'm not there yet. I'm taking a little break. I'm still at the beginning of season 3. I'm kind of letting it settle.
Oh, at least you don't have to wait 2 years for 6 episodes.
Exactly.
Just saying.
There was a method to waiting so long to get into it.
Right? Oh, I do that with books. For not being a reader, I will discover a author who has like 12 books in a series, and I'll just blow through the series in like a month. So,
speaking of which, girl who doesn't read, have you checked out the Lilith St. Croix novels?
No.
I texted those to you. You need to read those. They're very good. And there are 2 completed series. So you can't say that you were holding off because you were waiting for more volumes to come out.
I will get right on that right after fiscal year end.
Right.
Got to get through reappropriations first.
I just got to get through each day.
Oh. So, get through this week. We will talk to you next week. But until then, just remember, take it one dead day at a time. Have a good week, everybody.
All right, everybody. Bye.
Bye.